It is moving forward to the early majority stage of the innovation adoption lifecycle. If any of you are familiar with this, a really good example is an iPod. So an iPod very, very quickly moved from innovators who were mostly using it, people who hadn't heard of it before, but they were willing to take the plunge and spend the money to find out more about it, to the early majority segment, which means most people have it. About 34% of people have this thing. And the same is true with online backup. For years and years and years, of course, you'd be familiar with tape backup that companies primarily used, and then online backup came on the scene. And with that, of course, it was more expensive at the time, and fewer people were ready to start using it. But that has all changed. Over the course of the last few years, and I mean very few, perhaps 3 to 5, the price has come down dramatically due to the expansion of internet bandwidth, decrease of hosted storage costs, and the significant size and value of digital data that people are backing up. So there is more supply, it's cheaper, there's more demand, and that has kind of caused the demand to stabilize. And of course, the technical sophistication of the population has improved dramatically, even with help from something like an iPod. An iPod has shown us that we can put data in places other than our desktop computer, and it'll still be okay. But of course, when we smash iPods, then we remember that, oh, we probably should have backed it up. The IDC, which is an analyst firm you might be familiar with, confirms that massive adoption is near term. So massive adoption would put us in the late majority segment, only leaving the laggards that have not actually started using online backup yet. So 16% of companies surveyed by IDC are using online backup today, and 69% are evaluating it or planning to use it. You can effectively use that number, 69%, to gauge what your market opportunity is. And these numbers are probably a little bit off by now. It may be more like 20% of companies surveyed have started using it, and 80% are currently evaluating it. This survey was done about 1.5 years ago, so it's had a little time to incubate and change. How many of you on the line are selling to residential customers or selling to SMBs, or even businesses that might be a little bit smaller than SMBs? Do let me know so that I can try to tailor this portion of the presentation to you and speak correctly about a new release that we've had with our 5.7 client. Richard says both. Awesome. Trevor says SMBs. Alistair says SME, small and medium enterprises. Residential, SMB, okay. Okay, great. So we'll speak mostly to business, but we will touch on how the program can serve residential customers. Thank you guys so much for your feedback. It's really helpful. So what are SMBs looking for in online backup? They want a single package that can back up workstation servers, laptops, and mobile devices. And the reason they want this is because it eliminates opportunity for error. And you as an IT service provider likely want the same thing. You certainly want to eliminate the amount of problem fixing that you'll have to do with an application. You want it to be simple. So SOS has created a very simple application that includes all-in-one interface, Exchange 2010 backup, file server backup, PC backup, and another application for Mac. And this is all tied together with the partner dashboard. Everything can be observed, accounts can be created, accounts can be shut down, all with the partner dashboard. And that'll be part of our demo later on. So what's in the SOS product suite? A lot of things. On the right-hand side, this is what we usually reference for businesses. You can back up system data with our bare metal license program. You can back up application data and file data. So this would allow you to create bare metal images of SQL servers, Exchange servers, complete operating systems, and restore them to dissimilar hardware. So this is available in our mid-market program and our enterprise program, and of course available aftermarket should you need to purchase it. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the parts of the program that are really intended for small businesses and companies with a lot of endpoints, which is, of course, all of them, right? A lot of companies are allowing employees to bring their own devices into the workplace, and they need to back them up because they are using them for work. We do offer rebrandable PC and Mac applications, and within those applications that would allow you to back up your Exchange servers and your file servers as well. We do offer iPhone and Android applications, and we do offer Facebook backup. This is an external program that is unfortunately not available in the partner program, but it's a pretty cool feature. Steve has a question about Hyper-V and VMware support. Steve, I do believe we have an option for that, though it's not really productized. So if you have not been speaking to a partner specialist here, do let me know, and I'll make sure that you get in touch with a partner specialist as well as our sales engineer, Steve Sussman. He can give you a very defined answer to that question. So just type in the chat and let me know if you have spoken to anybody. So what are in the SOS partnerships? We'll look quickly at the options, features, and benefits of these programs. So like I mentioned, we have 3 primary programs. The SMB partner program, which you would also use for your residential customers, mid-market partner, and enterprise partner. So the SMB partner program, mid-market partner program, and the enterprise partner program all include some basic things, like the partner dashboard, which will allow you to observe all of your backups, the Partner Resource Center, and in April, the end of March, beginning of April, we will include native SQL Server backup within our application. We include Exchange Granular Recovery, Exchange Backup for Exchange 2010, File Backup, and of course backup for PCs and Macs. Now, what is optional and what really differentiates the program is down here at the bottom where we say bare metal image backup licenses. The SMB partner program does not come with bare metal image backup licenses, though you can add them later if you wish. The mid-market partner program and enterprise partner program do come with them. And then the difference between these two is the initial amount of storage that you start out with. So if you're selling to SMBs and you need to do bare metal backup, but you're not sure how much storage you're really going to need, you probably will want to start here with the mid-market partner program. Again, everything with circles up here is included in all the programs. The only difference is the number of bare metal backup licenses that are included and the number of storage, the amount of storage that's included. What else is in the SOS Online Backup program? We certainly don't stop back there on that last slide. We include weekly live trainings, and your sales representative that you work with now will forever be your account manager. So they will always be the one that you go to if you have a question about adding storage or a question about how to sell or a question about pricing. They will always be the person that you go to. In our Partner Resource Center, you will be able to have access to sales and marketing materials that you can rebrand and customize however you like. They're simply Word documents or PowerPoint documents that we use with information that we use. And you can rebrand them, put your logo on them, whatever you'd like to do. So how is SOS different or the same than some other programs that you might be looking at? Here's a quick comparison against Intronis, Doyens, Secret, and XC. These are ones that we commonly hear our partner prospects are looking at. We offer 12x5 partner support from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time out of our Los Angeles office. We do have some after-hours support based in our Indian office. We offer business development assistance through your relationship with your partner specialist. We offer a rebranded client, which you can change the branding on at any time. Just because you start with something doesn't mean that you're stuck with it. You can simply change the logo whenever you need. Rebranded sales and marketing materials, and we do not require a hardware purchase. We also offer the flexibility for you to host the program or for us to host it. So for those of you that are selling SMBs, we often come across partners that are selling to businesses and also have their own data center. Perhaps they're a telecom or an ISP, and we allow you to host in your own data center if you've got it. Likewise, we can also host for you. Our Infrascale cloud has 11 global points of presence, and we also have data centers in the UK and in South Africa. So you can choose from those as you like. And in all of our programs, we include Exchange backup and Windows Server backup. And in our mid-market and enterprise programs, there is SQL backup, but soon to be in all the programs. SOS partnerships offer a complete online backup solution. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're servicing businesses, this is definitely going to be ideal for you. We include complete file and folder backup and recovery. And the online backup and recovery manager is the tool that you would use not only to just do your basic backup, but also to back up your bare metal images. So you would use our image creator program to create a bare metal image and then back it up with online backup and recovery manager. It's simply a tool that will send data to the cloud, whichever cloud you choose. It could be yours or ours. And of course, workstation backup, PC and Mac, that's our bread and butter. And mobile backup. Our Android and iPhone applications are a little bit different. Our iPhone application allows backup of contacts and photos. And our mobile application for Android allows backup for applications, photos, videos, contacts, and the SD card. So it's a little bit more robust. SOS partnerships rival a new breed of competitors. So if you're out there in the marketplace competing against other IT channel resellers, these are the kinds of things you'll want to know about. Where we really differentiate is our ability to have unlimited seats per account. So you may have spoken to other companies out there that have asked you to purchase a specified number of seats for your endpoint backup. What if you don't know? Or what if you want it to be scalable and you want it to be able to change whenever you want and you don't want to have to place an order anytime the number of seats on your account change? Then this program is certainly ideal for you. We do not charge you or really track the number of seats you're using for PC backup, Mac backup, file server backup, or Exchange 2010 backup. And very soon, at the end of March, the same will be true for SQL server backup. Where we do regulate, however, is bare metal image backup. So we do offer packages of licenses for you to purchase, and those are limited. And the important thing about those that differentiates them is that they are transactionally consistent backups. So if you are doing bare metal backups of a couple of different servers, let's say that they're SQL servers, then you would need to know that this is very important because the data on those servers are changing constantly. And you don't want to take a backup, you don't want to take an image of those while data is in transit, because if you did, then of course you might run the risk of taking a snapshot of a server without the proper information in it because it might be in transit. Certainly don't want to do that. Transactionally consistent backups prevent you from doing that by forcing the backup software to talk to the server and verify that it's done with any of its activities before it actually takes a snapshot. So very important. Finally, the last major differentiator is unlimited archiving. So we do not put a governor on the amount of instances of versions that you can back up or the number of files that you can back up and how long you can keep them. You can keep them forever, and the same goes for your customers. So many programs out there limit these to maybe 30 or 45 days. Not so with the SOS program. You can roll back for years and years and years, however long you are with the program. Let's talk a little bit more about our data centers and infrastructure. Like I said a little bit earlier, we do have 11 global points of presence. We back up to military-grade data centers in London, Toronto, Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, Cape Town, and Melbourne. Oh, I realize we need to fix our image here. Our image says Johannesburg. Sorry about that. It is Cape Town. All our data centers are secured with 24/7 watch, video surveillance, biometric credential requirements, backup generators, and temperature and humidity controls. So no matter what goes wrong, there will be something to fix it or at least stave it off until we can get there and take care of it. In addition to this, of course, you can host on your own. So how are you going to grow your business and increase revenue by selling online backup? Number one is start selling online backup. Richard has a really important question pertaining to the last slide, so I want to answer it before I get into this. Can you pick which data center you want to use? Yes. Yes, you absolutely can. Just let your partner specialist know before you sign your invoice and before you start working with us, and we can make sure that that's accommodated for you. So even if you're in South Africa and you want to back up to the Melbourne data center, you can do that. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but not a problem. Just let your partner specialist know. So the number one way you're going to increase revenue within your business is by selling cloud backup. So if you've been selling the same core products for several years, it's certainly time to offer your customers something else. By now, they trust you. They know that you're going to make great recommendations for them, and you're here because you know that online backup is necessary. So you can host, or we can host, your branded online backup solution, and the pricing can be controlled by you, and you can set your pricing. We do not put any kind of cap on the pricing that you charge, and after you purchase from us, which is a wholesale purchase, any margin you make is your own. We're not coming back for any more of it, and we hope that you make as much as you possibly can. So you will make margin on recurring revenue. You'll buy on a wholesale model. You'll package and price your product any way you like. We do have recommendations for you in our Partner Resource Center, but you by no means have to follow them. You should do whatever your market will allow. We offer uncapped margin. For some partners in some areas of the world, this is as high as 150%. More average is between 50 and 60%. Incremental revenue streams can grow as, of course, the end user's capacity grows. So even if a business that you're working with isn't growing, they're still going to be creating more and more data. If they're not adding employees, they're definitely adding data. So you're going to want to be there in order to take advantage of that. And monitoring and management. Easy access to monitoring and management of an account is a great value add, not just for you, but for your customer. You'll be able to let them know that you are always there with your eyes on their backups, making sure that their data is protected. Steve has a question that I will try to answer, but I'm not sure that I can. How does it compare with products such as Barracuda Backup, which includes a hardware device on LAN, which then replicates? I would assume internet upload speeds have a large bearing on small business customers who are still using slower XDSL internet circuits with only 0.8K uploads, so perhaps an initial backup could take some time to complete. The question about Barracuda I unfortunately cannot answer, but again, I do think that Steve Sussman would be able to do that for you. Or possibly our product manager, Derek Wood, who just walked into the room. So I'll give him a chance to read your question, and then he'll respond before we get into the demo, if he can. Now, your second question regarding upload speed, yes, it is possible that that could take a while, and you should prepare your clients for that. It's not that it's not doable, it just might take a little while. We will allow you to back up as your internet speed will dictate. So if you're at 0.8K, we wish we could make it faster, but we can't. Okay, pricing for our new program. So like I said, we used to have a program called SOS Server Save, and it's very similar to this, but we've modified it a little bit to accommodate some new technology that we have. So if you had looked at us a few months ago, that's what you would have seen, but now it is different, and frankly, I think much, much better. So the engineering team has been hard at work at developing our own native Exchange application, and that has come to bear in our software, our 5.7 software that's available today. And this is available with all of our products. So the three that you see on the screen here are SOS SMB Partner, SOS Mid-Market Partner, and SOS Enterprise Partner. And the pricing here is in pounds. So for those of you that are on the RAND, I do apologize. I had to pick one, and we picked this one. So the SOS SMB Partner includes unlimited file server backup, unlimited PC and Mac backup, and unlimited Exchange 2010 backup, and soon will include SQL backup without the need for bare metal licenses. So see the line where it says bare metal image backup licenses 0 for SOS SMB Partner? That's because you simply don't need it to do that basic server backup. You, of course, also don't need it to do your endpoint backup. But if you want it, it is available to you at an aftermarket price of £1,300, and that is per year. The monthly price for this program is £200. So We needed a little editing here. Sorry for any confusion, but I will also show you on our website where this is clear. The SOS mid-market partner includes 5 bare metal image backup licenses. Again, that's 250 pounds per month. And the SOS enterprise partner comes with 5 bare metal backup licenses and 8 terabytes. You can add terabytes as you need. Richard has a good question. You say it works with Exchange 2010. We still have customers working with Exchange 2003 and 2008. Will it work with them? The native Exchange application will not. However, our bare metal image application will work with them. So if you need them and you think you're only going to need them like for another year perhaps, you could purchase them for a year, and then when you renew with us, just don't renew your bare metal image licenses. Hopefully that makes sense. Derek, can you speak to which type of Exchange backup is going to be released for native next?
Yeah, we're going to release native 2007 sometime in May. We're going to have our April release be our SQL backup.
Okay, did everybody hear that? Exchange 2007 is coming natively next, and then also SQL server backup. Trevor asked, how about Exchange 2013? I think you're a little bit ahead of us, maybe, Trevor.
Yeah, we'll come out with 2013 later on. But right now, 2010 and 2007 are the most popular, so those are the priorities.
Yep.
So in time, and for those of you familiar with the site, we can go over a little bit about our knowledge base and our partner community and how we really interact with our partners. We do take feature requests from our partner community pretty seriously, and I prioritize a lot of what we do based on the voting scheme that we have available in there.
Yeah, and like I said, we do a demo at the end, and I did not necessarily expect Derek to grace us with his presence, but he's far better at doing demos than me, so I'll go ahead and hand it over to him.
So we do a more detailed walkthrough every week, so take a look at our training schedule, and you'll see the more tech admin trainings where we go through everything in more detail. So for now, I'm just going to do a real quick run through. But if you go to our support site and go to our knowledge base, you'll notice a public section of feature requests. We do have a separate section when you become a partner, and the partner community has a lot more detail as far as beta release notes. I'll post mock-ups, wireframes, feature requests come both internally and from the partners, and we let the community vote on those feature requests. So it's a nice system of communicating with you what we're coming out with next. I do publish our roadmap on a monthly basis, so you can know what to expect, and it's just a big part of our program. We're really building this for you as managed service providers, so it makes sense for us to get your feedback on it. So if you have any questions about how the system works, for example, there's a question about how our system works in comparison to Barracuda. Barracuda requires that you purchase a hardware device, and you plug the hardware device into your network, and all the backups are going to be run to that hardware device, and that device is used to boot up virtual machines, virtual drives, or simply just be a placeholder for your data. Now, we don't force you to buy hardware from us, but we recommend you doing it very much the same way. So get a staging machine rather than paying $2 grand for it wholesale. You can get it for as low as $300 if it's something a really small, light environment. But you can get any black box that you deem viable, depending on what you want to do, for $700 or $800. So we loaded up 8 cores on the machine with 12 gigs of RAM, and you can use that for booting up virtual machines if you need to do a quick recovery. And that's very effective to have that kind of local backup strategy, because as was discussed by Steve, bandwidth is certainly part of your risk registry here. So whenever you go through a backup solution, you have to include all the different options. And then with your online option, of course, you have to take into consideration speed. Some environments are going to be faster than others, and you have to know that. So thanks, Steve, for the attention to detail, or really what you should be paying attention to. You'd be surprised how many don't take that into consideration. So first, let's open up I'll open up a Windows 2008 box running R2. Here we have the backup software already up and running. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to pull up our dashboard so you can take a quick peek at the core of the whole system, where you can monitor, report, and manage your backups. It's also where we communicate to you. So if we have important news and updates, we put updates here. If your basic, sell opportunities, so accounts that are nearing their quota. Activity alerts, this is your day-to-day activity, so which accounts or which deployments need attention. So we can see all the simple stoplight system we have going on here. You have a daily digest that can be emailed to a mail list or multiple email addresses, and just gives you basically the picture we're looking at now, except it includes the detail over here. From here, you can remove records, remove all records from that account. You can upgrade accounts. You can move accounts between companies. So a company is a new level of management that we've added, where you can create a company, and under a company you would have multiple accounts that are being managed, which is mostly the case. You might have a couple of accounts for the core systems, the file servers, web servers, mail servers, and then you have individual accounts for specific employees or specific machines, especially that with your core staff, and it should trickle down all the way to every endpoint. That is one of the major misses in most backup solutions, is endpoint protection. And that's one of our specialties, being such a simple and easy-to-use system. You can also mass deploy the system with an MSI. So we have an MSI available right here. You download that, you go through a knowledge base and search MSI. You can get some instructions on how to go about that. Remote backup policies. You can enforce backups without having to touch the machine. So you use an MSI to roll it across your network. And then you come and create a backup policy. So you give it a name. You set the scanner settings, and for the most part, this is for endpoints. So you can use file types, documents, images, music, video, custom. You can enter your own extensions here, so QuickBooks or whatever you want to do, and then you can set a schedule. So you save this, and then you apply that to specific machines that the account's running on, and now you've remotely set up a backup schedule and backup set. And then, of course, you just proceed with the activity alerts here. You have reporting, so that at the end of the month you can go get your money from your customers and show them what a good job you've been doing as part of the managed services you've been providing. So we have a list of everything. You can filter by account or system, or just simply get everything between a certain date, export that to Excel, and then you have most of the information as far as the total size of the backup set, total number of files backed up, files unchanged, uploaded, and that's per event. So you can go that and do a quick pivot chart and give your customers a nice little visual graphic of this is what's been protected with. We also have rebranding settings here. So rebranding settings is all controlled by you. So you can control the top of the client banner, which we saw just a second ago, logo, desktop icon, product name, the outgoing email address for all email alerts, as well as destinations for different buttons in the system as far as upgrading contact us. We also have added new functionality for client messaging. So if you have other services that you'd like to push on your users, and your users are actually interfacing with the software, you can make a message appear or not appear based on the presence or lack thereof of a specific registry key. So in this example, we just made up a registry key, and we just always have a banner for FileLocker, which is our other product that we sell. And as an online backup provider, you're automatically eligible to become part of our FileLocker affiliate program, which is free. FileLocker is a for-business file collaboration system. And more information, visit filelocker.com or come to our net and look at our webinar schedule and come to the next showing for that. So you can upload specific images, and the whole image in the client becomes a button. So right here, I just put in the FileLocker button, get started, and then I put in my affiliate sign-up URL. And it's that simple. So we give you a little cross-sell options. Some partners just use it for additional branding. You can use it to go to a Facebook Like Us page, retweet this, whatever you want. You can be pretty creative because you can put whatever URL you want there. You can make it for antivirus, which is a common thing for our partners to look at as far as, hey, you don't have this antivirus installed, please click here to download and install it. And that, in a very quick nutshell, is our central management dashboard. Now opening up our VM. This is our upload agent, so let me close this out real quickly. So regarding the branding, here's the client banner, and then here's the image and button. So if I click this, it'll open up. Unfortunately, Internet Explorer, it's going to give me some error because I'm also on a server. But you can see it'll open up to my page. Let's quickly go to bare metal backup. So we install Shadow Protect StorageCraft, or by StorageCraft, sorry. Let me go ahead and first delete this backup job. Some good questions coming through. Let's just get through the demo real quickly, keep the questions coming, and then we'll answer all those questions for you and anything else you want to talk about. So to create a quick backup job, you hit the backup wizard, and then you're given the basis of the system, which is to select a particular partition or drive letter. So here we have virtual disk E, which just happens to be our Exchange disk. And then we have the C drive. So the C drive, that's our basic system. You may want to do get this to be VM ready just for a fast recovery of your base system. That way you can just do a quick virtual drive recovery of your important drives, especially when you're going off-site. Off-site backup for bare metal images really is sensitive to your internet connection and ability to download and recover that information. So you really want to make sure that you are doing this in a way that is more organized than what may have been prior. For example, a lot of environments, typically if you're only doing a local backup, you could have Exchange, your file server, and your SQL databases all in the same partition, and maybe you only separated the program, the core system partition. Well, if you're going off-site and all you need to do is recover one of those 3 or 4 items that I mentioned, then that becomes a very overly bulky system. You're going to have to recover 4 times the data just to get back one particular partition. So with virtual with virtual drive technology, it's a good idea to start taking advantage of it and becoming more strategic in how you partition out your drives. So you select the drive. We'll select the E drive, which has Exchange on it. Here you would select your network drive or your staging machine. So for example, the Barracuda machine is a staging machine. You would select the staging machine that you don't have to buy from us. You can put together in any configuration you like, and it's probably going to be a lot cheaper. And you can use it for other things. So you go to your network location, you can select your staging machine. For here, I'm just going to select what's essentially a map network drive. Hit next, you get your schedule. So your schedule is pretty standard for local backups. You do a full backup once a week and then incrementals throughout the week. The problem with that is if you're going off-site, a full backup file may be too large for you to be able to catch up over the course of a week, especially if you have servers that are in the hundreds of gig range, which I would assume most of you do. To transfer, if you have, let's say you have a T1, 1.5 up and down, it may take about 45 minutes to an hour and a half per gig of data, depending on your local system speed as well as the availability of your bandwidth. So you can imagine if you have a 100 gig file or 100 gigs worth of data to back up, it could take nearly 100 hours. So that's over a full work week. For most of you, I hope. For all of you, I hope, actually. Unfortunately, Peter left before we answer his questions, but he had good questions, so we'll answer them anyways. So we go to a continuous incremental schedule where you just run incrementals from the starting point on, and this means that you can have a viable online backup strategy. So we have the compression available. You can encrypt the data locally if you need to. If you have old systems that don't use a VSS writer, this is a VSS-based system, then you can go to your old school days of writing bat files script out a database to stop running. That way all the transactions stop. We can take a snapshot and then start up the database again. So you don't have to do it manually. We do recommend for those of you who have large partitions, which should be all of you, to split them up into 5 gig chunks. We really recommend for speed of backup, consistency of backup, speed of recovery, consistency of recovery, splitting up your files into 5, maybe 10 gig chunks. 5 is pretty good though. Again, the local encryption and compression that we're going through in the software to go off-site is going to take local system resources. So as file size increases, the local system resources required increases dramatically. So you're going to see much faster backups if you split your files up. Also, the recovery doesn't matter depending on how many incrementals you have. You can have 1,000 incrementals, you can have 2. The steps are the same. And we'll show you what that means in a minute. So now we have the backup scheduled. You can go to options, go to agent options, and get email reports for this particular backup. Let's now follow up with taking that data off-site. Steve asked, can you then throttle back bandwidth usage during working day? Actually, that's been a really popular request in the partner community, and we've spec'd it out, and we're planning to have something out in the next month or 2 for that specifically. The first request was to actually just have an end time so that you could say run the backups at 6 or 7 p.m., but stop them at 6 a.m. And then the community voted for the next step to be actually a throttle down during the business day. So that's good. That's exactly what we're talking about as far as how we work in the partner community. So we have the online backup software. So this is used to get files and folders off-site. You can take bare metal image files off-site or just backup Exchange 2010 directly off-site. So with our Exchange backup, the native technology takes it directly off-site, so there's no staging machine required. It's going to also use VSS, and it's going to identify the databases that are here. It's going to grab that EDB, and then you can select it, and it's going to give us information about this EDB as far as the last backup date, the size, etc. You hit next, then you get your scheduling options. Let's go back, and let's do the image stream backup, which is for backing up the bare metal image files. So we backed them up to the F drive, so I select the F drive here. Put in your schedule. If you're on a domain controller, put in your Windows domain credentials. That'll be important for most everyone, especially if you're doing server backup. Frequency, you can go hourly, daily. If you're doing a file server or individual workstations or PCs, doing an hourly backup is perfectly viable, and it really brings down your RPO, restore point objective. Restore point objective and restore time objective, RTO, are 2 of your primary figures to be marketing and pitching to your customers. They're essentially your backup SLAs. So your restore point objective is how far back can we go? You know, how much data are we possibly going to lose? If you're doing a daily backup, how long is your RPO? 24 hours, because you're doing it once a day. A day is 24 hours. If you're doing an hourly backup, your RPO is depending on how many hours you choose. So 1 hour, 2 hours. For endpoints, every hour is fine. The user won't really notice that it's running except for an email report if they choose to subscribe to that, and you can change that from your dashboard as well with a policy. So this really gives you a nice RPO for your workstations, which is where most individual file loss happens. The most common type of data loss is at a file level for users. The most damaging would be more of a bare metal backup strategy because your server dies. And really you should just have a good hardware replacement policy so that your hardware doesn't go out of warranty. About 90% of all hardware failures happen outside of warranty. It's how they stay in business. It's literally them telling you, based on what we've manufactured and based on our tests, after so many years, we will have neither the parts nor the capacity to deal with the rate of failure at this time. So that's why most warranties are about the same length, 3-4 years, depending on the quality of the hardware. And you just make sure you're in quality. You can get SEEK reports for, because drives. If you have solid-state drives, then you can just look at the cycles that it's running through. And every manufacturer has pretty good studies as far as if you see seeks dropping a certain percentage, then you might need to replace your drive soon. If you see so many cycles, most of our drives last X cycles, and then if you get that to that point, you might want to replace it. So for the most part, you just got to replace your drives, but it's just good. Hardware management is one of the better protections and preventions against hardware failure. For us, data loss is a primary concern, so the hourly is a good option. We're doing the image backup though, so let's do it daily. We hit finish, and then the backup's going to run at the end of this wizard. So here comes our upload agent. The upload agent is going to give us all sorts of good information about what's happening here. And if we go back to our dashboard, so we can go to our monitoring section. And let's see if we have OLB partner demo. Let's see, status, uploading. Not yet, so it's not a quite real-time system. It's about every 15 minutes. Let me make sure I got the account name correct. Yeah. So here we can see that we're getting time elapsed, uploading. You get a file-by-file status as well as a system log status. And then it also gives us time remaining, total files selected, so all the information you would need about the backup. So it is here. So here we go, uploading OLB partner demo using image stream on the last demo machine, kicked off just a few minutes ago, backup in progress. We'll click this to get more detail. And the detail hasn't loaded up yet, so every 15 minutes there's going to be new update to this section. And then if there's a update that fails, then you get a warning that, hey, we haven't heard from this backup, and it means that this is potentially frozen. If it goes for more than 2 hours without an update, then you get a red saying the backup likely has failed. Go check it out. So now we're running offsite backups. We go to restore. Let me expand this again. So we go to online restore. This means we're going to restore from our online backup. Depending on how long you've had the account, you can go back in time as far as you've been running backups. So I go back to December, hit next, and we have a list of the machines that we were backing up data from in December. If I go back and hit today's date and refresh, then we can see the list has grown even more dramatically. So I can go to Lasso Demo, I can go to the F drive, see the files and folders that are here right now. Here you can see some versions, so the version just gives you a drop-down with a timestamp. And then you can just select all the files that you need. So StorageCraft has a pretty simple naming convention of backup job 3, incremental 19, incremental 17, whatever it is. But let's go ahead and I can actually do, let's just do one recovery. Then next, great, to a new location. This test recovery folder. I'm not going to include the original file path because they're just files. There's no folder structure involved here, so it's not important to me. Hit finish, and notice that I am running a recovery at the same time that I'm running a backup. So as soon as you start uploading data, you can install this software anywhere or just go to the web portal, and you'd be able to refresh this data from anywhere as soon as you start running backups. You don't have to wait to the end of the backup job to see what progress is being made. So here we can go save machine backup details. So machine backup details, this is an end user report, so the end user can look at this. You also have the ability to drill down to this level as long as you don't have UltraSafe enabled. For accounts that have UltraSafe enabled, there is no password recovery option and there is no account drill down. So drill down meaning log in as. So on all the accounts we saw earlier in the management dashboard, you can log in as that backup account. So here we have machine name, the use space per machine, and the date of the last backup per machine. Good question. Can the upload agent automatically recover from temporary internet or temporary interruption to internet connectivity? Yes. So what will happen is there will actually be a little notice that says backup will resume when internet is restored, or connectivity is restored rather. So yes, it will resume. So there's a recovery. You can open up the destination, or I can just look here. Now it's not a full path, so let's show the recovery of storage path files. I'll let that backup run. So we go to our, just in Windows, we go to our backup drive F. So this is essentially our staging machine. And I go to backup job, say 3 incremental 37. I right-click this in Windows. This is Windows Explorer. No program needs to be launched. And I select Quick Mount. And then soon we're going to hear or see Exchange Drive H mounted. And there we go, virtual drive. And now it's going to launch me into the drive. So here's my data for this virtual drive. So file data, web data, Exchange data, whatever it is. Since we have the Exchange data, let's go ahead and show you what Exchange granular recovery looks like. So we open up Exchange granular recovery. And first we select our backup file, so the not live Exchange database, the one from which we're going to be recovering. So we go to mailbox, got my EDB, great. Automatically going to find the logs. We hit OK. It's going to load up all the Exchange data and all the objects up here in the source column. So we can expand through here, look at calendar items, contacts, deleted items, inbox, journal, etc. So for this demo, we only have a couple items in the inbox. So let's do a quick search. We can search through everything. So let's say, okay, user comes up and says, hey, there's some attachment. It's really important, something about management. I don't remember who sent it to me or when it was sent. If we did, we could put the filters in. But let's just do this. So we find now. It says, okay, great. Well, we got 10 different emails, Mr. User. Do any of these look familiar? He says, I don't really know. And say, okay. So I double-click, and it just launches the message and then gives me the attachment. He says, is this the one? And the user says, oh, my gosh, you're a genie. How do we get that back to my mailbox immediately? He goes, no problem. So let's go back here, and we're going to connect to our live Exchange server. So this is going to now authorize you and authenticate based on your Windows credentials. So you have to be the Exchange administrator at this point. We're going to load up what we have here. So we go to user 1, there's his inbox, and we just do a quick drag and drop into his inbox. And that's it. So we just recovered a message for our user. If we want, we can also drag and drop a whole user into the machine, or we can take the whole source EDB and drop it into the new hardware. And then it'll even ask us, okay, do you want these mailboxes to be created that don't already exist? And say yes and move on, and it'd be great and easy. Since we are an Exchange administrator, we can actually change stuff on the live Exchange box. So if we want to go to browse and say, hey, you know what? User 2 really shouldn't have been sent this attachment. You get it back from him. So we look, double-click, open. That's the one. And we can just right-click and delete that from his mailbox. So really a pretty powerful system without a lot of training needed. I mean, this is a pretty simple system to go through. It's really not that difficult. And for instance, I've never been an Exchange administrator, but I know the system really well and can get around with basic recoveries if I need to. All right, good question here from Steve. And I might need some clarification. The question is, are we saying here that the product could also be used perhaps to assist with email archiving and therefore reducing the load on mailbox stores if you can restore individual messages? I I suppose you could. Are you implying that you would back up the Exchange store and then clear out archived data, and then if you ever need to get back to that, you would just use the recovery functions? Yes. Okay. Yeah, you could do that, certainly. Especially when you have businesses who've been around for a while. You know, you have an employee that's been in the company for 5, 6 years. You know, their PST could be, or OST could be, 10, 15 gigs, especially if they're higher up and just are email heavy. So yeah, that's definitely a good way to use it. Good question, Steve. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's generally the whole system in a short, condensed manner. For more information, you can always visit our knowledge base. We have all the information there. So let's go up. For one, we don't have a PDF guide. What we do have is just a knowledge base article that we update probably on a weekly basis. And if you just type in guide, you get what's called the SOS Server Save Installation and User Guide. And this gives you just about everything. And it just goes on for days. But it's a really good read to understand how the system works. And it also links to more specific articles throughout the guide. And it also links to outside websites. So if there's like Microsoft Exchange best practices, we link to those. If there's Shadow Protect best practices, we also link to those. So a lot of important things to understand. Now again, if you want to get started and get a demo on, talk to your customers about this, get it launched, call into our partner specialists. Number is 877-896-3611. You could also just go to our support site and just submit a ticket requesting a meeting or requesting a demo. So you can go submit a request, your email address, the subject line, a description. Please put as much contact information and description about your business as possible. It'll just save time. Our reps are going to ask you anyways, as we like to know the basic profile of who our partners are. And it also helps us understand which program is going to be best for you. We are very partner focused. We have over 1,000 partners globally that we work with, and it's our primary mode of business. So we like to categorize and understand who it is that we're working with, and we don't get any benefit from misplacing you in a program anyway. So we're going to make sure that you're in the most appropriate system so that you can really maximize your return on this investment. Any questions? Let me see here. Peter had some good questions earlier. Okay, Exchange. What about Exchange 2003 support? No, there is no Exchange 2003 support right now. The Exchange 2010 tool can be used for 2007. We haven't finished up a QA, so we still need to do some smoke tests on that and then roll it out. But the next release will be sometime in April. So we're looking at about mid-April for a native SQL backup, probably 2008 R2, and then we'll look at, and then thereafter we'll add Exchange 2007. But we don't have any plans to go back to 2003 at this point, as it's 10 years old. Okay, as a SOS partner, I'm aware that you do have Android, iPhone applications available. Can this be rebranded? So, good question. If you ask your partner specialist, they can direct you to where you can actually build out your own rebranded Android application. So it's not something that I'm going to show today because it's not part of our typical dashboard, but it's more than a proof of concept, and it works, and we let our partners use it. For the iOS application, it's a little more difficult, as dealing with Apple is a little more difficult. So we don't currently offer the iOS application rebranded as part of the standard program. If that's something that's really important to you, you can talk to your partner specialist. Our primary plan is really just to release our mobile APIs over the next 2 to 4 months that would allow our partners to build their own mobile application entirely. Good question, Peter. Is there a trial period available? For you, absolutely. That's what you're saying. Submit a request and you get set up with a trial. For your customers, yes, as well. Every partner gets by default a 5 gigabyte, 14-day trial option so that you can seed this out to customers, get them running the backup just to see that it's not going to screw things up, whatever it is. But it is a trial period that may not get the entire backup done. So the whole point is let's get your customers out there. We do have trainings also on a monthly basis that go through packaging. So packaging strategies as far as how do I include online backup to my customers. And we go through a really good strategy for making this a part of your standard program. So it's not just selling a backup account. It's that you're selling your backup solution and what should be called a business continuity solution. It includes various items. Online backup, server backup, bare metal restore options, virtualization of those bare metal images, which you can do. Good question. All right, Jeremy's coming in. If we have a staging PC, then is there a need to download backups for restore? No, that's one of the benefits of having a staging machine is that you have a local backup. So when you're putting together a backup solution, it's not online backup versus local backup. They're complementary services and strategies and backup to each other. You don't truly have a disaster recovery solution or business continuity solution unless you have both strategies in place. What we're discussing is in comparison to Barracuda makes you buy their box and can only be used for their system to act as a staging machine. And you run your backups to the staging machine, and then from there you go off-site. That way you save production resources here, and you also have a local restore point. So you don't have to restore from online if your staging machine has backups intact. But if you didn't have that staging machine, or if you're off-site and you just need a file or a folder back, then of course you can go with the online backup route. Great question. Steve asks, rather than rely on the internet speeds for the initial backup, is there an option to ship media with backup data on it to the data center? Well, due to the security of our data centers, we actually don't have any access directly to the data center. What we do have is some relationships in different regions as far as what we call a PMU partner. So the PMU partner is basically going to have dedicated hardware and dedicated pipelines to our data center, in which case they can get the backups done faster, the online backups done faster. And they can do that for you. So actually, if we do a search for, it's what we call physical media upload, so PMU. You can take a look at companies we have. So we have companies in South Africa, Australia, and the USA. If you're in the UK and you're interested, then you can contact us and you can become one of our sponsored partners. Any more questions before we end? We appreciate the participation. It's been great with you all. Jeremy asked, can we start at basic and then add bare metal as we need them? Yeah, that's perfect. You can start at whatever level you want. That's the goal. We don't want to misplace you in anything. So your bare metal backup should be a local strategy at the very least. It's a great local backup option. And then off-site backup for your file and folder level backups is terrific as far as flexibility and being able to recover, share, or reference your data from anywhere that you have the mobile application or you're on a machine. And then we do offer monthly payment options for all programs. All right. For more information about the programs, pricing, all that good stuff, please contact our partner specialist, and they'll be able to go through the whole program front to back with you. They're also going to go through a full ROI, so based on what your business currently does, how we think we're going to push it out. They'll give a really conservative adoption rate across your customers. That way we can really see if you buy 3 terabytes, how much money do you think you'll make and in what period of time. So rather than you having to do that in your own time, our partner specialists are trained to do that with you. So the whole idea is you can get in the market quickly and without a whole lot of work. So thank you for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you out there. Cheers.